I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing to you today because I need to tell someone about what happened to me and my friends during our camping trip. I know it sounds crazy, but I assure you, it is all true. We had rented a cabin in a remote forest for a weekend getaway. At first, everything seemed perfect. The cabin was cozy, the fire was warm, and the woods were beautiful. But as the night went on, we started to feel a sense of unease. We couldn't quite put our finger on what was causing it. The forest was quiet and still, but there was something off about the atmosphere. It was as if we were being watched. The next day, we decided to go on a hike. But as we walked deeper into the woods, we began to notice strange markings on the trees. They were crude and primitive, like something out of a horror movie. We started to feel a sense of dread and decided to head back to the cabin. But when we got back, we found that all of our gear had been ransacked. Our food and supplies were gone, and the cabin had been vandalized. We were stranded in the middle of nowhere, with no way to call for help. That night, we heard strange noises coming from the woods. It sounded like chanting and drums. We were terrified, and we knew we had to get out of there. We set out into the woods, trying to find a way back to civilization. But as we walked, we stumbled upon a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a group of hooded figures, dressed in robes. They were chanting and performing some kind of ritual. We quickly realized that we had stumbled upon a pagan cult. They were performing a ritual in which human sacrifice was needed, and we were their chosen victims. We tried to turn and run, but the cultists were too fast. They caught us and took us prisoner. We were tied up and laid out on an altar as the cultists began to chant louder and louder. They lit a fire around the altar, and I could feel the heat getting closer and closer. I managed to escape during the ritual when one of the cultists got too close to the fire and set his robe on fire, creating chaos and allowing me to break free. I was able to find my way back to the cabin, and I used a flare gun we had brought with us to signal for help. After a few hours, a search and rescue team found me and took me to the hospital. I am the only one who managed to survive, though I have severe injuries, burns, and cuts. My friends were not so lucky, they are still missing. I can't explain what happened to me and my friends, and I have no idea how I managed to escape, but I know that it was a nightmare, and I will never be the same again. The cultists were still out there and the police are investigating the case. I hope you can understand why I need to tell someone about this.